How's it going, gang? It's the final render here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some building inside Fallout 76, but we're not going to be building in the camp system. Oh no, we are going to be building stuff to use in the nuclear winter game mode, the battle royale game mode inside Fallout 76. Now, I've actually come up with 5 really good defenses that can generally give you an advantage inside nuclear winter, and the plan with this video is to show you how you build them so you can build them in adventure mode, blueprint them, and then bring them into your nuclear winter game mode. There are some really good things here, some big ones and some small ones, and hopefully some of these little defenses you can build will give you a little bit of an edge when defending yourself inside nuclear winter. So, let's go! And today's video is sponsored by Amino. Amino is an iOS and Android app which contains various social media platforms for almost pretty much every single interest you can find. You can find ones for knitting, movies, music, and there is even a Fallout Amino. Amino have sponsored the channel many times, and people have come back and said that they really enjoy using the app and have met lots of cool new friends inside the Fallout community. But as a YouTuber myself, I was really excited when they told me about the new feature on the Amino platform called Stories. Stories are essentially posts which you can put onto the Amino app, and they actually are small little videos. They're edited kind of like YouTube videos as opposed to like Vines, which are just kind of very small little clips, and they're really nice things, and they've got various ways to add your own music. You can add special scene selection options, and I've gone ahead and added a video with 5 tips on how to win nuclear winter, and these are tips that weren't in my last video I did on nuclear winter where I gave you 7 tips, so this story has an extra 5 tips for you to go ahead and follow. Please go ahead and use the link in the description and in the pinned comment to go and find my profile on Amino, go check out the story to get those cool tips, and maybe consider posting some stories of your own in the future. So thank you very much for sponsoring Amino, you're doing a great job. So to kick off this video on building effective defenses in nuclear winter, we're going to start with a guard post. This is pretty much as simple gets. It is a regular defense guard post with a little rampart so you can go and fire back at your enemies, but we have changed it up a little bit to make it much easier for blueprinting and make it much more useful in combat. We're going to be placing it on a concrete foundation so people can't hide underneath the foundation, and lining up the center of the guard post with the center of the foundation. Now this guard post is dead center of the foundation, and then we're going to place a small metal wall on the front of it. The metal wall is there so that if someone shoots at your guard post, they have a much smaller target. They have to hit the top of the guard post rather than the bottom, thus giving it a little bit of extra defense. And metal actually does have a higher defense point than every other kind of wall you can use in the game. But the reason we put them on the foundation and put them dead center is because now we can snap them to each other. This is such a simple thing to do, is to just go ahead and throw it onto the foundation. And I even kind of played with this idea of adding camouflage onto them just to make it a little bit more interesting. But unfortunately, nuclear winter doesn't allow the fastener decorations in there, which is what those little plants are. But the idea with this is to just make a very quick and easy foundation defense so you can just snap together and work very simply. And of course, it's actually much easier to place a foundation on the ground than it is to lay an actual defense on the ground. You can just put a foundation down and then you can start snapping things together and have very quick and easy defenses. Next, we're going to go something for a bit more interesting. We're going to go with a guard tower design. Now, full credit for this design goes to Mr. Hobby, who you can often find on Late to the Fallouts channel, and he came up with this design, which actually is quite effective. This is a very simple tower which relies on only one foundation, so you only need one foundation's worth of space in order to place this down, put up some stairs, and then use the upper floor sections to build yourself kind of like a U shape on the top of the tower. This is where we're obviously going to be inside and where we're going to be firing out from. You may be tempted to use the wire floor so you can see enemies directly beneath you and you can shoot them there, but don't do that because bullets do go both ways in that case. You can be shot at from inside your fort, so don't do that. And now for our walls, we're going to be building them out of metal. Metal does have more defense points than, say, wood does, so go ahead and use the metal. I know you may like the wood, and it may be quick and easy, and it may be the first thing in your menu, but go with the metal. We're going to be blueprinting anyway. So after that, we're going to be putting a roof on there, and then we're going to have the half walls attached to the roof. This means we've got a little bit of defense on the top of the floor, and then just to kind of finish it off, we're going to have these small defensive walls you can find in the defense section. Now, the reason we're using these ones instead of more half walls is because these are only a quarter of the size of a regular wall. So therefore, with half walls at the top and regular quarter walls at the bottom, we get a small little firing post which we can use in this tower. And then we can blueprint it and start using it. Very important tip, when you're blueprinting a tower like this, when you start blueprinting, blueprint it from the stairs. Select the stairs first and then blueprint the rest of it. You try to do it via the foundation, it will often say objects are floating, and you definitely don't want that. But this is a very cool design overall. The reason I like this design is because it just feels very practical, and it also gives you a little bit of extra height so you can see a bit further. I even toyed with some other ideas, such as putting some of these Helvetia flags on the front. Now this could be very cool, because you can actually see through these, however, you can't shoot out of them. However, unfortunately, you can't put Helvetia decorations or Fastnot decorations in here, so I had to go ahead and change the plan, and instead, I also thought, why don't we use some of these glass walls that you can get in the kind of warehouse wall section? And the reason this is good is because you can shoot through this two ways. You know, your opponents can shoot you and you can shoot them. However, it just makes it a little bit harder for your enemies to see exactly where you are when you're running around in there. So that's a cool way to go ahead and do it as well. And next up, of course, we need some stairs. Very, very simple thing. Obviously, if any of you guys have played Fortnite, you know how important stairs can be. Just go ahead and have a foundation, some stairs, and a little platform on the top. Select the stairs as part of your foundation, and then save that. And of course, you'll also want to save a second blueprint as well. You'll want to make a blueprint which has stairs and a platform, but no foundation. So now you can very quickly place down some stairs with a foundation, and then attach stairs without a foundation to that top platform, giving you quite a bit of height, actually. This is very useful if you are caught on the cliffs inside the game when you're going ahead and running away from the storm, and it's just a very quick and easy way to build stairs. The nice thing about blueprinting in this game is that, quite frankly, it is quick, and you definitely need to have a lot of speed when you're building something inside a Battle Royale game. So go ahead and blueprint these stairs, infinitely useful. Always a nice thing to have somewhere in your blueprint item, and it will really help you get out of some bad situations. Primarily, as I said, if you are running away from the storm and you just need a little extra height in order to get over a little cliff face. Very nice idea overall. Next up, we're going to be building a small little ground level fort. This is a fort that should, in theory, give you protection to revive someone in your team if they get downed when firing from our defenses. We're going to have a 2x3 foundation rectangle, and then we're going to be adding our little defense guard post that we built earlier on. So in total, it will actually be quite a long build, but this actually should give us quite a few firing posts within inside our little fortress. We're going to have 2 on each side and then 1 in the middle, giving us a total of 6 firing posts. And then we're going to have half walls on the small sections where we can't add any more guard posts. This is just to give us a little bit of protection when we're crouched down. And then we're going to add a roof section. This roof is actually quite tall. We have got 1.5 walls worth of height for the roof, and that is going to go over the top of all of our guard posts. That means if someone wants to shoot down from higher up than you, they're going to have a harder time to hit you if they are higher up with that little roof section in there. And here we go, the little fortress done. This is actually a really cool thing, because when you are in this fort, it basically means, in theory, no matter where you get downed from, someone in your team should be able to revive you safely. Because we've got the half walls on the side, we've got the guard posts on the edges, and we've got the roof on the top. And it generally actually does work. Typically speaking, my teammates would always find a place to where they could crouch down and revive me if I ever got sniped when I was on top of the guard posts. And of course, the guard posts themselves are just a nice way to go ahead and have a small bit of cover when you are fighting. The real trouble you got to watch out for is people who are very high up, because they can often get a line inside. But overall, it works really well. And now we're going to have a very, very simple firing post here. This is pretty much as simple as it gets, but we have got 3 defensive walls along with some metal stairs and some protection at the bottom. Now the reason this is very cool is because with the defensive walls, the concrete ones, you are able to adjust the height very well. So it means we can actually line it up so that our defensive walls give us just the perfect amount of protection, so that when we crouch down on the stairs, we are perfectly protected. You do actually have to blueprint this one in 2 sections. You need to blueprint the walls and the stairs separately, but it's a really good thing to do. A very good tip as well is to put a metal wall on the stairs. That way, if they shoot through the concrete, which actually is pretty easy to do, then they can't shoot you in the legs. But overall, here are 5 fantastic little blueprints you can build and then use inside Nuclear Winter. We've got varying uses of them. We've got big ones, small ones, some as big as your stairs, which can go 3 stairs tall. And overall, I think we've got a very useful little kit here. I do plan to do more videos on this where we come up with useful designs for little forts, which we can then blueprint and then bring them into the game, just to speed up the building process. Now guys, building inside Nuclear Winter is generally very, very cool. It really helps you out in a pinch. But for God's sake, guys, one thing I must emphasize: do not rely on your defenses. If you get stuck in your defense and the storm comes along, it's entirely your fault. You have to be prepared to abandon your defense as soon as it gets hairy. But if you're okay with doing that, and of course if you blueprint them, that's even easier because it didn't take time to build, then you will actually have a bit more protection when you're waiting for the storm to pass. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Remember to check out all the cool Patreon people in the description below who help support the channel with their financial donations. Use that, of course, could also do the same. And I'll see you around. This has been the final render, and you've been the audience. Bye-bye for now.